They really understand both production and character. But the thing that I loved was they had the best outs. Was that, because the hardest thing as a writer is you television is, because there's commercials, they have all what we used to call, it's all foreplay and then a false climax. And then a commercial, usually for tampons. And so you would put them together. I'm just doing all of Michael's old bits. And so you would put them together, and it would just go like this, and then commercial, and then you'd come back. And so there were always like little moments of false jeopardy, like, Lana was falling out of a car, or Clark's building was exploding and his clothes were fine, or, Lex finally, would end by going, I'm going to kill my father. And then you'd come back and it would be like Pete at the malt shop going, so Lana, are you going to the dance? And we'd be like, what happened to, are we going back to Lex at some point? But the idea was to get you to sit through the commercial and watch the show, and obviously it worked.
Well, it's so different. It's so different now because when I watch it, I buy the seasons for this, and there's no commercials.
Sure.
And so it's different. It's a different abruptness. It's not designed. No,
that way. It doesn't have the breaks don't feel generic, like they were built in. But I'll never forget, on my first meeting, I came in and they said, what did you think of the show? And I said, I loved it. I loved it because, as Aaron Spelling once taught me, to throw a name out there, Aaron Spelling at the time was just the king of television. He had 72 shows on the air. You could watch the show with the sound off. And Al got very what do you mean? What does that mean? I said, because the show is so beautiful and your cast is so beautiful, you want to lick the screen. It's like candy. and then I reminded them what Aaron had taught me, which was, and this was when there were only 4 networks, people like to hit the remote all the time. You need a show that people are going to stop and go, whoa, this looks different than everything else. And they had created a show that had looked different from everything else.